Hey everybody, welcome back. It's been a little while, and I'm here with one of these videos. Not so much a critique, it's just like an overview of sorts and suggestions musically and books and things like that. So, over the past, I'd say about a year or two, I've developed a mild fascination with tiki culture, and I seem to keep missing these festivals. There was one in like New Jersey about a year or two ago, and which brings me to another thing. It's similar to when you go to a record store or you go to a convention of some sorts. Sometimes you'll find a slight overlap of genres or everything under the same roof, some sort of like umbrella term or grouping of things that, to the person who's a purist might not seem to have any similarities at all, but to the general public, it's not like they're the same thing, but they can sit stylistically at the same table, so to speak. So, having said all that, my point being that I missed the festival, and I believe that some of the bands were more geared towards a tiki kind of musicality, while others maybe they kind of bridged into surf, rockabilly stuff. There's a little overlap at times. Uh, it's like if you go in a record store and you see a bin that says like lounge slash exotica, you might find a wide range of titles and things in there. And again, you might go, what is this doing in this bin? But sometimes that's where it all winds up. And that's good because it forces people to look at stuff they might not normally look at, as well as explore ideas. So having said all that, these are just some suggestions. Now, obviously, tiki culture and events kind of take hold in warmer climates and in the warm seasons. Right now it is summer. It's been blazing. I'm determined to get to a tiki themed bar or something like that over this summer. A quick perusal yielded no musical events of that kind. So always willing to be surprised or corrected. So, again, with these thoughts in mind, now there was a great series that came out a few years back on Capitol Records, I believe. It's called Ultra Lounge. So within that, there's samplers as well as standalone CDs. A whole range of them. Runs the gamut from kind of mood music, bachelor pad music, lounge music, more tiki themed music that might be centered more on a particular area of the world. So these are some samplers that they put out a couple years ago. You might already have it. Here's one Ultra Lounge sampler, well worth seeking out. Some of them have very familiar names to people that follow lounge stuff and all that. This one, if you can get it, the Vegas themed one, get it with the working roulette thing on the front. And then, of course, it's much more tiki themed, isn't it? It's another Ultra Lounge sampler. Now, there's other bands that fall into that lounge thing. I don't know if it was given its own name like lounge core or whatever, but I can highly recommend Tipsy. A great CD and vinyl record. And this was I believe, their final album, unless they reconvene. Go Buzz. Now, They recently, I think, are doing music under the name the Daydream Drinkers or something like that. And I think I even mentioned it in a previous video. And to my knowledge, it's only available through streaming. No physical product of yet. Here's a nice little sampler put out by Sven Kirsten. More on him a little bit later. Had to get that one, right? You had stuff in the lounge genre that came out a few years ago. This was tied in with Pink Panther. And this is the Pink Panther's Penthouse Party. Some of these work well, others don't. I think they're trying to be too... It's inclusive to a fault. It doesn't make for a smooth listen. But to me, I'm open-minded. Willing to give it a chance. And to that end, I would say, if you have open-minded people, they like lounge, they like exotica, they like surf music, they like guitar stuff. Why not put a couple of songs from this on? Tom Verlaine instrumentals, Warm and Cool. Really nice. And also some of the Bill Frisell stuff would fit nicely. Picked this up recently, another one of the Ultra Lounge series. And then back in the 90s or early 2000s, this came out on Hollywood Records called Lounge-a-Palooza. To me, the highlight of this record is Steve and Edie, which is Steve Lawrence and Edie Gourmet, doing a cover version of Black Hole Sun, right? And also Pizzicato 5 with Girl from Ipanema. Now, when you think tiki and you think lounge music, you don't necessarily think of Annette Funicello, but she did do Blame It on the Bossa Nova, and she did do an album called Hawaiianette. Everybody knows Pineapple Princess, I think. I see no reason to also expand your horizons and have something like Nouvelle Vague in there. They do kind of soft, I suppose you could say, bossa nova influenced cover versions of new wave songs and things like that. They're fantastic. I've yet to see them live. Another one from the Lounge series, Space Cadets. And then this band from Germany, I'll have to look for, they have another CD or two, I'll have to look for that. Maybe vinyl. The Bad Examples. See, this is a bit of a, I don't know if you would call it a fusion, but it has synthesizers mixed in with Tiki-ish music, and it sounds like synthesizers. They're not trying to hide it. And this is a great CD from the Basta label. This is Chick Vector's Travelogue. Very creative stuff. I hope that this comes out on vinyl at some point. And he has some other music that's, at this point, to my knowledge, is streaming only. I'll have to do a part 2 to this where I delve into my vinyl lounge, exotica, tiki influenced recordings. But for now, I just picked this up. No, I did not get the massively huge sized version. I opted for this size for several reasons, none of which I will go into here, but primarily space and expense. Tiki Cocktails, a groovy book, fairly new, but it's got a vintagey kind of vibe to it. It's by Shelley Slipsmith. You know, because you may, if you're that kind of individual with the tiki experience, you might want to have a tiki cocktail to enhance your experience. And then finally, did I mention this is from Sven Kirsten, who I showed the sampler for before. And then we have The Art of Tiki, another Sven Kirsten book, lavishly illustrated. So with that, I don't know if you're in the tropics, you're in the Arctic Circle, wherever you may be, you want to set a mood, and that's what it's all about. A good mood, hopefully. So with that, I'll see you soon.